Hello, everybody. I'm live. We're live. Happy Tuesday. So thank you guys all for joining us today. We are answering the Patreon group's questions today like we do every Tuesday. So if you do have a question that you would like me to answer, definitely go ahead and post it in the Patreon group and we'll definitely answer it. So let's take a look at the questions that we have today. So right, what was I going to say? Not entirely sure. So the first question is Heather's question. So Heather's question is, I am living in the end. And the question I have now, which is, I am doing very fine tuning here. Okay. So, sorry, it's 58. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hi. Hey, Julia, I'm new at this too. Great to have you, Julia. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone from New York City. Oh, you're my new subscriber. Thanks, Julia. I hope you create some many good things in your life. So 1 minute, 22 seconds. We're going to answer Heather's question here because I can be distracted so easily today. Do you ever have those days where you just get really distracted easily? That would be today for me. Okay, so I intend to be focused and to answer these questions really well and to help everybody. Okay, so back to the Heather's question. So I'm doing some very fine tuning. So sometimes I find myself visualizing a text and then maybe a specific message in the text or a get together or just us happily together. Is my subconscious wise enough to understand that this is the seed for us to be happy together? Absolutely. Is visualizing and imagining various scenarios slowing me down or not? No. If you're focusing on what you want, it's never slowing you down. And in fact, that's what from the end is. Okay, if I already had what I wanted, what would my thoughts be? What would we be doing every day? So the age-old question, right, is manifesting a text message living from the end? Well, my answer is if when you're with the person, you're going to talk to them, then yes, manifesting a text message is living from the end. I mean, for instance, me and Andrew, we have date nights. So, when I first met him and I intended that we were dating, that was living from the end because we still date now, so to speak. You know what I mean? So anytime you're focusing on what you want, you're putting more power to it and you're speeding it up. Okay. So it's not just, manifesting the $1 million. It's manifesting what you're going to spend with the money, how you're going to feel when you have the money. That's the same thing with the relationship. It's just not manifesting the marriage. It's about manifesting everything that comes with the marriage. Are you guys going to talk? Are you going to text all the time? Are you guys going to spend time together? What are you guys going to do together? All of that is living from the end. And the more you put towards that and the more you focus on those little tiny things, the better it's going to be. Okay. So, yes, your subconscious is wise enough to know that it's the seed of you being together. And in fact, the more scenes you visualize and think about, the more you actually create it. Okay. Yet those small intentions and manifestations are such fun thrills that it's indescribable. I know, great. And those little tiny things in there, they help to see that you are the creator of your reality. In the case of weight loss, do you visualize losing 5 pounds every Tuesday, or do I visualize myself at 170 pounds? Well, you can do both. You can definitely do both. Again, though, when it comes to, like, say, for instance, losing weight, can you see yourself basically, losing 50 pounds overnight? No. So, whatever you feel is believable to you. So, whatever you create to be, 5 pounds a week or 5 pounds every couple days, until you get to the 170. So you do both of those. But if you intend it's only going to be 5 pounds, then it's only going to be 5 pounds. If you intend it's going to be 20 pounds a week, then it's going to be 20 pounds, as long as it's believable to you. That's the big thing, is you've got to see that it's possible. So you would do both. No, it doesn't really matter. I do see what you're getting at. I love your questions. And last week you intended that I would recommend a Neville Goddard book, and I did in the last video, and I did actually recommend one. So that's really awesome. And you're starting a YouTube channel. Yes, you can mention me. Absolutely. But basically, right, I think I've answered your question is everything is from the end, and you can be as detailed or as general as you would like when it comes to creating what you want. So you can either be like, this is what's going to happen. I don't care how it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Or you can be like, this is what's going to happen, and this is how we're going to get there, and this is, and you can be very detailed as you want. You can do it either way. I like to do either way. Like sometimes I get really detailed when I have a lot of resistance and I've got like 1,000 reasons of why it won't happen. I like to do 2,000 reasons why it will happen. But if I'm pretty, easygoing, no real big opinion here or there, pretty neutral about it, maybe I'll just do it general. So it all just depends on what it is and how I feel about it and how I'm feeling at the time. Sometimes I can't wait to sit down with a pen and paper and script out every little tiny detail. And other days I couldn't be bothered. So it really just depends on what you feel good at doing at the time, because this should never be a chore. It should be fun and enjoyable. So, guys, again, I am reading the question. Can you? Yeah, actually, I was just about to do that, Danielle. So the Patreon group is a group where you guys join and I answer your questions there. I answer general law of attraction questions. We can't do coaching because, as you know, your thoughts create your reality. And if you want me to find your blocks or to advise you on your situation, I need to have a conversation with you to do that. So we just answer general law of attraction questions. So you join the group, and the link is in the bottom of every video that I post. And when you join the group, you can definitely, post your questions weekly there. So, yeah. The next question is at 6 minutes and 45 seconds. It's Adelia's question. I think I got that right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. Hi, Amanda. Do you teach people how to become a coach? I'd love to find out how to do this work, or if you have any recommendations. So I only train my coaches for our coaching program that we have, that we implement for our coaching sessions and clients. No, I don't officially have a training program to train people to go out in the world and be coaches. Okay, so right now we are just focusing on helping people and coaching them mainly in relationships, right? Now, if to become a coach at Create Your Future, because this question has come up quite a bit, is you have to be a master creator and to be able to articulate and explain how the law of attraction works and have a really good working understanding, knowledge of it, and be accomplished yourself in your life. That's a requirement, and as well, some background, either teaching or, some other background that helps, maybe a counseling or, that sort of thing, which goes in line with, coaching. So yeah, that's what we require for people to become a coach here. But other than that, I don't teach people how to become coach. I'm a neurolinguistic programming practitioner, as well as a side life coach and a hypnotherapist and an EFT practitioner. So that's sort of my background. I got background in peer counseling, working at crisis line and stuff like that. So, we all got different sorts of backgrounds, right? So first thing I would do is maybe take a coaching course somewhere so that you're trusted and that you feel good about, right? Maybe that would be a way to go. I don't know of any place to specifically recommend having confidence in yourself, that sort of thing. I hope that answers your question. 8 minutes and 56 minutes. 8 minutes and 56 seconds. We've got Cece's question. Hey, Amanda, I am doing so great manifesting my specific person. I manifested him a few times and was wondering if you have any tips on how to not get overwhelmed when you get your specific person back. Maybe also a few tips on how not to fall back into your own habits. Thank you for everything as usual. You're so welcome. Okay. So, I'm not sure, what you mean by overwhelmed when you get your SP back. That I guess I would need a little bit of clarification on. Like I've always noticed when I've manifested something and I get it, then I'm like, do I even want this anymore? You know what I mean? Especially when it's like a relationship. It's like, oh, it's like you chase, okay, finally, you manifested them, you got them, and then you're like, well, wait a minute, do I even want this anymore? I'm not sure what you mean by overwhelmed. But what we would what you know what would I recommend to have you not fall back into old habits is what I would do. When I say get back with somebody, and not to fall back in those old habits, is I keep on top of my thoughts. And I really make sure that I don't participate in anything that's gonna make my thoughts go back into their old habits very quickly. So some things could be changing your lifestyle, changing your routine, things like that. Doing some different things really helps to help you to not fall back into those thoughts. But really, I mean, it's just a matter of a choice. You've got a choice whether you're going to go back to your old thinking or your new thinking. So, things like, for instance, I mentioned this in the last video, back, when I was younger, if I really, or even now, if I want to make a major change in my life, I won't, go out and party with my friends for a while because I'm working on staying on top of my thoughts. So, I'll watch, what I ingest in my body and take care of myself, get proper sleep, so that way, I have the energy and I'm in a good mood, and so I'll do things like that to make sure that it's easier for me to think positive, stay on top of my thoughts, right? So, you know, yeah, how not to fall back into old habits is just about, being aware. Changing your perception on situations help as well. I mean, it's easy to go back to a story of rejection if we don't stop, creating rejection in our relationship by changing our perspective. Just because Gerry says, well, I'm busy Friday, maybe doesn't mean he's rejecting us, maybe means he's actually busy and he does want to see us on Saturday. So sometimes just changing the way we look at the situation will help us not to fall back into our old habits as well, right? So yeah, those are a couple tips there. Sorry guys, my phone's on. I am waiting for a delivery to come. So um, um, let's take a look here. Uh, 12 minutes and 10 seconds we've got here. 12 minutes and 10 seconds. So the next question is, Ninja Cat, love your username. I always watch cat pictures and stuff on Reddit. So much fun. If you are manifesting a specific person to ask you to move in together, then the next day they randomly bring up a cousin who wants to move in with them. And then the specific person is telling the cousin no, but for a good reason. What is this? You've created it with your thoughts somehow. I can tell you that. So somehow my specific person picked up the everyone is you pushed out signal. So is it a sign or a partial manifestation? Okay, so signs don't exist. Okay, signs are only manifestations. Okay, now is it a partial manifestation? Not quite sure. You would know if it's a partial manifestation because you would know what your manifestation is. I'm going to assume that your manifestation is him asking you to move in together with you. But I mean, how did you create your cousin? Him, your cousin bringing, or the cousin wanting to move in with them. I mean, it could have been created in many different ways. You could have just flat out thought, oh, I'm going to miss my chance. Someone else is going to move in there. The cousin's going to want to move in there. You could have created it in a million different ways. So the only person that knows if it's a partial manifestation would be you. And the only person that can figure out how it was created was you, because you've created it with your thoughts. So another example is when I wished for a delivery of baked cookies and instead received delivery of cookie mix. What's going on? Does my manifestation power have a sense of humor? Well, again, I mean, you could have thought with the cookies, I mean, oh, they always get my order wrong, or I really want those cookies bad enough, I'm not going to get it, I'm always disappointed. Like, there could be 100 different ways, thoughts that could have created those things to show up not exactly the way that you want them to. So, without actually sitting down and chatting with you, I can't actually pinpoint how you created them, if it's a partial manifestation or, anything like that, because your thoughts are creating your reality. Now, see, a partial manifestation, I'll explain what that is. So a partial manifestation would be like this, like my story is that Gerry is never going to forgive me, and, he's never going to forgive me and get back together with me, but he wants to be in a relationship. Okay, so if I say, well, Gerry, I intend for Gerry to want to be in a relationship with me, right? But then he'll want to be in a relationship but not with me, because I've got the story that he's never going to forgive me and be with me. Okay, that would be a partial manifestation. Okay, so another example of partial manifestation would be if I say, for instance, wanted to go to a restaurant, but I said, oh, you know what? There's always a lineup, to get in, like you have to wait, and then the parking lot's always packed. But then all of a sudden I said, well, you know what? No, I intend for the parking lot to be completely empty, and then I'll get there, but I didn't say anything about the inside of the restaurant. I get there, parking lot's completely empty, but the inside of the restaurant's still going to be packed. I'm still going to have to wait for a table. That again is another, example of a partial manifestation. Okay. So partial manifestations are because you make an intention, but part of it is blocked because you have a belief that's actually blocking it that hasn't been shifted yet, revisited, or whatever the case may be. You've got some resistance to it. Okay. So that's how, I mean, as far as everyone as you pushed out works is people are going to be what your assumptions of them are going to be. Okay. So if you assume Gerry likes you, Gerry's going to like you. If you assume Gerry doesn't like you, he's not going to like you. If you assume people think you're amazing, people are going to think you're amazing. Okay. So you create what the other people think and want. I mean, essentially, right? So everybody's constantly overhearing your thoughts because we're all one. There is no separation. Everybody in this reality of yours is animated by your subconscious mind. Everybody is a projection from your subconscious mind outward. So you're actually animating and creating everything in the world, whether it be with specific thoughts and assumptions or general thoughts and assumptions. Okay. So I intend that helps you answer that question. Okay. Okay, so at 16 minutes and 28 seconds, we've got Lily's question. This is so fun. Hi, Ananda. Hi, Lily. Sometimes I feel like I'm being unrealistic, delusional when I'm doing intentions for certain things I haven't manifested in my 3D world yet. Is this typical at all? And is there a way to stop feeling like this? Okay, so I mean, I don't feel unrealistic and delusional when I'm doing intentions in my reality because I know that I can create anything that I want. And I've got enough experience and belief in, quantum physics and me being a creator that nothing seems unrealistic. However, I get where you're coming from. So what you want to do is you want to basically take a few steps back. Okay. So, maybe intending marriage is too far out. Let's make the end a bit closer. Let's just start intending that we get starting to talk and he starts to flirt with us. Okay. So maybe, intending $1 billion in 1 year is just seems unrealistic. Okay. Let's move it a little bit closer. Let's start with just, intending $10,000 a month. And then when we get to there, let's do 20 and let's keep moving it up slowly. Okay. That's honestly what I do because that way I don't get discouraged, overwhelmed, and impatient because I'm making small little progressions by reaching my small little goals. And it keeps me interested and it makes me feel like I'm making progress. So if you're feeling unrealistic and delusional, practice intending more things throughout your day. Do those lists of creating people, doing and saying things and manifesting those copies, as well as make your goal a little bit closer to something that you believe. Okay. Because that's really what everything is. Like, I mean, I'll be honest, this business, Create Your Future. I mean, my channel's been around for 3, maybe 4 years now. Okay. And it's all just a matter of little steps throughout I've taken, right, that have brought me to where I am. Same thing with Create Your Future, the coaching company that we have. It didn't start with all the coaches that we have now. It started with just me, right? And it's grown a little step by step into something even bigger than that. Okay. So take your, whatever you're creating and make your goals and your intentions a little bit closer to what's believable for you. And then when you reach that, push the bar a bit more, move the line, and go about it that way. Okay. You'll be a lot less impatient as well. So let's take a look here. So 19 minutes, we've got Christine's question. Let's take a look here. So a lot of coaches are bringing out posts, videos, podcasts on the topic that we create our rules in our reality. Have you covered this topic? I'm about to. I know you taught us our primary beliefs, such as we can be or do have anything we choose. The other coaches have some new rules and beliefs. We say the new rule or intention that our limiting beliefs and resistance no longer impact our manifestation coming to us, and we can have our desires now despite of these. So they say we don't have to work on any limiting beliefs or resistance to get our desire. We can do this at any time, even after our desire manifests. What are your thoughts on this and how can we apply it? Well, okay. So your subconscious mind only sees in pictures. Okay. So the thing is your subconscious mind doesn't know what you want and don't want. It doesn't know what a limiting belief is and what it isn't. All it knows is what you focus on, it creates. Okay. So what happens is you say, you focus on something and it creates a picture of it in your mind, and then it vibrates out. Your subconscious mind doesn't have any sort of power or any sort of stuff to create that. It's not going to create something. Everything that you think of has the potential to show up in your reality. Okay. And this is how the brain works. And this goes into quantum physics. Okay. So can you create that you can think negative and still have that what you want? No. You can't. You can't focus on, basically Gerry cheating, and lying to you, and then have him never do that, because your thoughts create. That's the law. So your conscious mind is the mind that you have to choose what you're going to create. Okay. So everything in your reality is overhearing this thought in the front of your mind. Okay. Now, you can create the rules of what you create. In fact, everything is a rule. Even limiting beliefs are a rule. Okay. But you cannot change the one rule is your thoughts create, period. And you can't say, okay, look I'm going to think negative constantly and have anxiety over money and be a billionaire. I'm sorry, that isn't going to happen. You can try it. These coaches that are saying it, I don't know who they are. I've never heard of this, but they probably know that that's not the case. Okay. Because our thoughts create our reality. Okay. So if we could think whatever we wanted and have anxiety about money and still be billionaires, why would there even be something called the law of attraction? I mean, what rules would quantum physics now follow? Like none. Basically, it wouldn't matter. But then we could not think about having the $1 billion, and we could basically focus on being broke, and we could focus on basically having anxiety over money and still, manifest that $1 billion, then how does the universe even know to give us the $1 billion if we don't even need to think about it? Do you know what I'm saying? So no, you can't say, okay, look at only my positive thoughts create, because the universe, your brain doesn't know which is positive or negative. The only thing your subconscious mind knows is overhearing what your conscious mind is saying. And that's being projected out to everybody in the world, regardless. There is no filter. The only filter that you have is, oh, no, I do not want to have that thought. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to say no. The mental diet is key to this, and watching your thoughts is key to this. Okay. And and I have thought in many times in my life and focused on what I don't want, and I've gotten more of that. And, it doesn't matter how much I say, look, no, I want $1 million. I'm going to think about whatever I want and I'm still going to get it. That's not true. You've got to focus on clearing the story for that $1 million. Okay. So, yeah. So what you want to do is you do need to get past any limiting beliefs or resistance to get your desire. Okay. I mean, if we didn't, then none of this would even be the case. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you can try it. I'm pretty sure that if you're not focusing on what you want, then you're not going to get it, because how does the universe know what you want if you're not actually focusing on it? And your brain doesn't know what a limiting belief is. A limiting belief is just a limiting belief because you don't want it. Right. So for example, okay, if, for instance, I wanted to be with Gerry, okay, but Gerry, I said, he doesn't like me. He doesn't want to be with me. Okay, now all of a sudden, Gerry not liking me is a limiting belief because I want to be with Gerry. However, if I didn't want to be with Gerry and I really don't care about Gerry, and I have the story that he doesn't want to be with me or like me, then guess what? It doesn't matter. It's no longer a limiting belief. So a limiting belief is only a limiting belief within the context of what you're actually going to create. So the only person that knows what a limiting belief is your conscious mind. But your subconscious mind, it just overhears your mind, and it just, your wish is my command. Your wish is my command. And it takes your input of what you're thinking. It does not filter out what you're thinking. It can't do that. That's not what it does. Okay. Because it doesn't become a limiting belief until it's in relation to what you want. But if you're focusing on it, you're going to create it whether you want it or not. It's a lot more simpler than, what we're saying. So, but you can create the rules. You definitely create rules as far as if, for instance, okay. So you say, well, I don't let my negative thoughts, they never manifest. Well, I mean, they may manifest, but just by saying they never manifest, then you're taking your attention off them and you're focusing back on what you want instead of worrying that they're going to manifest, which is then going to make them manifest. Okay. So you can create rules, like I always get what I want, everything always works out for me. I mean, you need those meta intentions. Okay. But as for, being able to not be on a mental diet and create what you want, that was like the first 10 years of my life. So no, it doesn't work. But anyway, so yeah, I hope that helps to answer your question. You have to focus your thoughts on what you want. Okay. So let's take a look here. So let's see here. The next question is 25 minutes. And, but again, with that, these are the coaches. I don't know who they are. I don't know what context they're talking in. I don't know. I mean, but I do know, how the brain works in quantum physics. And I do know from experience how this works. And that's, that's my take on it. So Teen's got a question. What if you want revenge? Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not sure how to answer that. I mean, I personally, never feel good if I do something like that. But I mean, so I'm not quite sure. You're going to have to clarify your question. I don't know what we're looking to get an answer on here. I mean, I always go by the rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Because, anytime that we actually, wish ill on another, we're again bringing it into our conscious awareness. Now, anything that's in our conscious awareness has the potential to show up in our reality. Okay. So that's how, for instance, the ball works. And this actually goes back to Christine's question as well. So this is how our brain works. Okay. Like the ladder or the red balloon. Okay. So basically you focus and you visualize a ladder. Okay. For like 20 seconds or a red balloon. And then all of a sudden you see a ladder somewhere, or you see a red balloon. Okay. That's because you've consciously focused on it. It made an impression, created an image in your subconscious mind, and then your subconscious mind called it into your reality. Okay. That's how it works. It's just that simple. Your subconscious mind just takes orders from your conscious mind. It does what you tell it to do. So, that's the thing with, if you say wish ill on another, you've now created a picture in your mind. And because you've created a picture in your mind, okay, it could happen to them, but then you also make it an option to happen to you or somebody else close to you because you focused on it. And, when you basically focus on something, you put it out there. You put it out there. Where is it going to show up? Well, maybe to the one that you focused it on, but, because of how our brains work, it could show up in other people that you don't want it to, and it could even to yourself. Okay. So always focus on what's good. Always focus on what's pure. Always focus on what's the benefit of everybody, because you don't want to open the door to that, right? But it's up to you. I mean, it's your life. There's no right or wrong, good or bad. Create what you want. But again, that's why, the creating, well, what only, my limiting beliefs never create. Well, okay, hold on. We're focusing on limiting beliefs, right? Our subconscious mind makes a picture, right? So whatever you're primarily focused on, that's what's going to end up showing up in your reality. And yes, you do need to work on your limiting beliefs. Okay. So I hope that helps to answer your question. So we've got Monica's question. So at 28 minutes. So 28 minutes. Let's take a look here. So how to get people to stop copying you? Well, you can create that. You focus on what you want them to do instead, right? So the next question at, I would say, 29 minutes. And what do we got here? So Danielle's question. Hi, Amanda. Do you have any advice on lying? For example, growing up, I was always told that lying is bad and you shouldn't do it. the truth always comes out. But how can I change that belief that if I had to lie, it's okay? Not that lying is always right, but if I lie to somebody and feel bad about it, how can I change or justify the idea of lying at certain times? Okay, revenge, lying. What is going on today, guys? Oh, it's like I gotta take a sip of water. So, you know, I mean, I watched this documentary once and it was the science behind lying. I'm not sure, maybe it's on Netflix, but anyway, they were saying that, sometimes lying isn't bad, that sometimes we lie, to save somebody's feelings. But let's go further than that, right? I mean, what's the motive for lying, right? And when is it okay to lie to somebody? Right. So, I mean, technically you could say, well, it's okay to lie to somebody if it's gonna, if you're going to hurt their feelings. So a little white lie to spare their feelings is a good thing. But hold on, everyone's you pushed out. You create, if that's going to hurt their feelings or not to begin with. So, your question is more of, having a conversation about your morals and values. And I would say that there's probably a situation that you're looking at trying to deal with there that we're trying to navigate around. So, I would say that sitting down and having a conversation with somebody about this, or exploring it on your own is something that you would do. So, I mean, the question is, do you ever need to lie if everyone is you pushed out? And what would the motive of having to lie to somebody would even be? And when are the times that you would be okay with lying to somebody, right? I mean, but again, if everyone's you pushed out, for me, for instance, the only time that, I would justify lying to somebody if it was going to spare their feelings. But then when I'm like, no, hold on, everyone's being pushed out, I'm like, okay, well, then I never need to lie because I can intend that no matter what I say, that they're going to be okay with it. So, I mean, there's a conversation that needs to happen here for us to dive into this a little bit more, okay? Because I don't even personally see, the benefit of lying in my reality because there's never a time that I need to lie. I don't need to lie, to not get in trouble because, everyone's me pushed out. So I create that's always fine. I never need to lie to save someone's feelings because I intend that, everybody's okay with what I have to say and, and how things and my decisions and choices are and so on and so forth. So, does that kind of make sense to go down there? So let's take a look here. Um, we've got 32 minutes and 20 seconds for Manali's question. Hello. Yes, I answered your question. So, what's your advice if half the time I'm not able to catch my thoughts? Okay, so if you're not able to catch your thoughts, do intentions every time you think of the person. Okay, create a mantra, do intentions every time you think about them. Okay, just anytime, just randomly throughout the day. Like, I'm going to do intentions right now. Doing dishes, do some intentions in the shower. That's my most famous time to do intentions. Driving, love doing intentions while driving. Just every time you think of the situation, just start doing intentions. Okay. So I do conscious work at night before I go to sleep. Excellent. But for the entire day, I'm autopilot and I don't even know what I'm thinking about while studying, watching Netflix, etc. In such case, how will my limiting beliefs will change when I'm not able to catch them? Well, I mean, that's why, we say to do that list of writing out all your complaints, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, and then write them into positive intentions and then read them. Read them in between Netflix shows for that like 20 seconds while they're loading the other one. That's what I do. I put intentions on little cards. I mean, I've got, a little recipe card here at my desk that with stuff I'm working on right now. And I'm reading this and, yeah. So, create those sort of things for you if you're having a hard time. But really, I mean, just start doing intentions. Like, don't even worry about catching your thoughts. Just start, blurting out the intentions that are opposite to your limiting beliefs or just, pardon me, sorry, do them in your head. Also, sometimes when my specific person does something in 3D, which I don't like, I really don't even want anything to do to flip that. So, for example, they say something negative to me, and instead of in a mood to change that, my ego hurts, and that, F it. I don't want to do anything for them. Okay. I'm really worried that with both situations listed above, and what can I do to change them? Okay. Do I really have to think and affirm continuously the entire day to saturate my mind with a new belief. Well, I mean, you've got to do it because your thoughts create, and there's no way around a mental diet. If you want something bad enough, you've got to fight for it and work for it. Now, I mean, it's not really work if you know that it is going to do it. I mean, the only thing that keeps me going some days with my intentions is I say to myself, I know this works and I know it works. I know all I need to do is really, really put some serious thought to something for about 24 hours. And really, every time I think about it, you do my intentions, and an intention or two, focus on what I want. And as long as I put that energy into it, I know I'm going to get a payoff from it. So, and that's what keeps me from getting discouraged and tired right now. I mean, part of this is at some point you've got to step back and you've got to look at the situation and you've got to change what you're making his behavior mean, right? That's the biggest thing is we've got to stop one day and say, wait a minute, this person really likes us and they really aren't out to hurt us on purpose. And you've got to be able to see that it's possible that that is the case with them. That's the biggest game changer here is being able to see the possibility of the person treating you the way that you want them to treat you. You see, law of attraction isn't about being a doormat, okay? That's not what this is about. Okay, fine, you created him to say something mean. It's not about you being a doormat. It's about recreating him and seeing that it's possible that, hey, wait a minute, he can be nice. He does only say nice things to me, right? But if you can't do that, then, there's no point in recreating people. I mean, I'll let you know, like Andrew's not my first boyfriend. I failed many, many times before him. Okay. So, and so it just goes to show that, yeah. So my last boyfriend before Andrew, it didn't go anywhere as bad as I wanted it to. There was too much resentment, too much anger, too much rejection, what I was carrying to me to get past it. And I said, forget it. I'm not even going to bother, like I wanted to be happy and I wanted to be happy now. Right now, did that mean that I had zero struggle with my relationship with Andrew? No, I did at first because I had so many bad relationships that didn't turn into commitments before him that I really had to fight with that one piece, and I had to get past my own limiting beliefs that guys didn't want relationships. And that was my major malfunction story. Like seriously, it was terrible, but it kept showing up with every single guy. And some guys I created so much resentment and anger with, I just couldn't even, I was like, But then even when Andrew showed up, I still had to, battle myself in that belief. So it wasn't, but there wasn't as much history there either between me and Andrew where I didn't have that buildup of resentment and anger like I did the previous, guys that I dated. So it really depends. The biggest thing here is being able to see that it's possible to have what you want with the other person. It's possible for that person to treat you the way you want them to treat you. Right. And, it's not so much about not reacting, but it's about some point just going, okay, I'm just going to forgive you and I'm just going to focus on what I want. Or, if you can't forgive them, then, it's not about spinning around and being a doormat and going, okay, I created this. I have to put up with it. I have to put up with it because you don't. Right. I mean, just because you created it doesn't mean you have to be a doormat for it. Right. But it's either you recreate them or you don't, right? And there's no right or wrong, good or bad. There's no, success or failure. I mean, both are a success in themselves. I mean, I consider it successful to recognize when, I just can't put the time and energy into recreating a relationship. No problem, no big deal. I mean, it takes a strong person to realize that, you don't want to mess around with that and keep, running into the same wall, right? It's all what you want to do, right? And it's about creating the possibility in the other person. Okay. So, yeah, let's take a look here. So 38 minutes. So we've got Lisa's question at 38 minutes. And let's take a look. When starting to say new intentions, okay, is there a certain amount of intentions that is too much? No, never. Never. Just do them whenever. I intend to have a good day. I always get what I want. Everything works out for me. Yeah. Should you focus on only a few intentions for a few weeks or say as many as you want? I say as many as I want. It's up to you how focused or you want to be on intentions or how, little you want to focus on them. I was just curious if too many intentions at once would overwhelm the brain and not be as effective. I hope that question makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. No, I mean, you have 60,000 thoughts a day. So with those thoughts, you're either investing them or you're spending them. So spending them would be basically focusing on what we don't want. Investing them would be focusing on what we want. So if our conscious mind has an average of 60,000 thoughts a day, that's a potential of having 60,000 intentions. In fact, 60,000 thoughts means you create 60,000 intentions a day. Okay, so just because let's look at it this way. Every single thought you have is an intention. It doesn't matter if you say I intend or not. Every thought that you have is an intention. So if we look at it that way, you have 60,000 intentions every single day. What you're doing with the mental diet is you're investing them and you're focusing them on what you want rather than letting them just run free. Okay. So yeah, basically, the more intentions you do, the more of those 60,000 you're focusing and investing in what you want, investing in tomorrow for it to show up. Okay. So Kim's question. Kim. So 40 minutes and 30 seconds. So, hi Amanda. If we create our own reality, separation is really an illusion. Yeah, it is. There is no out there, right? This is all, quantum bubble. This is your quantum bubble. This is mine. You have your own, right? So, and how much control do we have over death of another person or our beloved pets? My friend's cat has been sick for a while, but recently got really sick. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. He was in the hospital and she tried to get our loan to help pay for the vet bill, but got denied, which is odd because she has great credit. Did she create that? The cat ended up passing away. Oh, I'm very sorry. She follows LOA, so she made sure she was in a good headspace. So do we create our pets and people getting sick and dying? Our pets us pushed out? I've been searching everywhere for this answer, and all I found was Esther saying something about death is when you're completely in the vortex and have no resistance. And sometimes death is a path of least resistance, which didn't help. No, that doesn't sound like it helps. Doesn't sound very comforting either. So do we create people and pets to get cancer, liver failure, or whatever, or hit by a car? Please. Oh, so or to die in a natural disaster. Okay, so let's cover this topic, okay, guys? Okay. So how this works is we have things we call agreement realities, okay? So one general agreement in this world is that people live, people die. Another, general, assumption that you have is people are healthy, people get sick. The fact that of cancer makes cancer a thing, okay? So everything, Kim, was created in your reality. That's your quantum bubble. Your friend doesn't create anything. You create it all. Okay. Nobody's got any free will in your reality but you. Okay. Unfortunately, I mean, you didn't specifically kill, or have much to do with the passing of the cat. Mostly it was probably just the general belief that people die. Right. So that's your agreement reality in your quantum bubble, is that people are born, people die, people can get health issues. Those things are out there as a thing. So, if you didn't know about death, then there would never be death. Now, that's only what the agreement reality in this particular, living is. But when you look at it from the quantum, state, like quantum physics sort of science, is nobody lives and nobody dies. Nobody is even born and nobody even dies, because we're energy. Your consciousness can never die. You're just consciousness experiencing itself in, in basically I would say, like a way to explain it would be a virtual reality. Okay. And this is what you've created. So you've created that you're going to, get born. So you got born and you're going to grow up and you're going to grow old. And at some point you're going to pass away. But it's only your experience in this particular, simulation that happens. Your consciousness experiencing itself, your energy, you never die. Okay. Same with, anybody in our reality, they never really die. They only die out of our, picture right now of what we're experiencing, but their energy, they were you to begin with. Okay. Because everybody's a portion of your mind. So, so you've created it all. Okay. Because nobody has free will in your reality. So your friend to create anything. Okay. Now, did you specifically create these bad things or not? Probably not specifically. You weren't like, but just because that it's possible for something to be hit by a car or something to get sick, then that makes it something that could possibly happen in your reality to somebody or to some pet. Okay. Do you get what I'm saying? And because you have got a belief that as humans, we get born and then we die, and there's old age and there's illnesses, just because that's in your realm of consciousness, it becomes a possibility as well as an agreement reality in your reality. Okay, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Tried to explain that as best as I could. So, mm, let's take a look here. So 45 minutes. We've got Patricia's question. I hope you're doing well. I am. Thank you. I hope you are too, Patricia. Could you explain how we combine intentions with SMART goals? Oh, yes, we can. I've seen your videos on goals, but how do you set those goals when we don't know the date by which it could happen? Do we simply put the date we would like it at the same time that's believable to us? Yeah, that's exactly it. So you just create a date where it's believable for you to do it for the SMART goals, right? Sorry. So what SMART goals are is it's just basically a way to say, okay, look at, you know what, I'm going to have this by this time, but how you get that date is you basically work backwards from your goal. Okay, so what's believable to you? Let's go with marriage. Okay, let's say, you know what, I'm manifesting to marry Gerry. And for me, you know, I would say that marrying him within 5 years is realistic to me, right? And hopefully by, you know, year 4, we're engaged, you know, and then hopefully by year 3, we moved in together. And then, you know, hopefully by year 2, you know, we're living together. And then hopefully by, you know, year 1, we've been dating and hanging out enough. So you would make those dates, you know, is what's comfortable to you and what's realistic to you. Okay. Now, it really becomes important if, say, you have an action plan with things, right? So, what would be realistic to you to put for a date, a deadline date, because you may need to take action to reach a step in your goals. Okay. Whatever action that may be, maybe the action's a mental diet, maybe the action is actually, you know, sending out a resume, like whatever the case is. You also got to be realistic with what your action's going to be, but it's just a date to keep you accountable, right? And you always, you know, create your goals as if it's that date right now. Okay. So let's take a look here. Let's take 46 minutes. So we got Rose's question at 46 minutes. Hello, Amanda. I've been saying intentions for 4 days now, and I haven't seen what I want to turn into reality. I try to stick to my mental diet, but what do I do when I get disappointed? I know I've created the bad stuff, but at the same time, it's so hard to fully accept that somebody is being an a-hole because of me, especially when I've been so kind to them. So, you know, it's your opinion of them. So if you've created them to treat you badly, then you've created them to treat you badly. Again, this isn't about being a doormat. It's about creating boundaries and then intending that people respect those boundaries. Or it's about saying, look, I deserve to be treated with respect, and Gerry treats me with respect. So, you know, let's start shifting the story that this person treats you good. You can be as good as you want to somebody, but if you've got the story that they treat you badly, they're going to treat you badly. Now, we're getting disappointed after 4 days of doing intentions. Now, I don't get disappointed when I do intentions because I know my intentions are going to show up. So I would say that the disappointment may be coming from where, you know, we're not believing that this is going to change, or we're not believing in our intentions. So how I got to the point where I don't get disappointed when I don't see results is I kept practicing and practicing and practicing and manifesting little things and manifesting other things while I was still working on the big thing, because everything that I manifested would give me that excitement. And I'd be like, okay, this is working. I know what I'm doing. Okay. So, I mean, but again, you know what, what's the thoughts that are causing you to feel disappointed? Because, you know, your thoughts create your emotions. So we would want to sit down and have a conversation with you to get to the bottom of where your disappointed feelings are coming from and talk that through, and hopefully shift your perspective there to figure out, you know, where we need to tweak that mental diet. Because if you're on a mental diet that is, you know, focused on what you want, and, you know, and completely focused on, you know, believing and having, you know, faith in yourself, and persistently assuming that what you want is going to happen, then you wouldn't be feeling disappointed. So we want to find out what thoughts are causing that, and we need to sit down and have a conversation to do that. Okay. Let's take a look here. So we got 49 minutes, and we have SK's question at 49 minutes. Let's take a look. So Hi, Amanda. Thanks so much for all the wonderful work you're doing. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for watching. Your recent videos with Reem and Connie were so helpful. I know they're amazing, right? They're so amazing. So, how do we get over resentment about not knowing this teaching earlier in life? I have created that life is very negative in almost all areas. Aw. I'm trying to state my intentions, get on a positive mental diet, and start on a good path. However, I find myself feeling resentful that I've wasted so many years creating so many problems that I now have to overcome. But if we're feeling resentment, aren't we just still focusing on what we don't have? I think we want to shift that to focusing on what we have. It's never too late to start. I mean, start now. Sure, I could be like, look at, I've got a great relationship and I've got, many, many great things in my life, but that wasn't always the case. But the way I got them was I focused on what I wanted. I don't know if many of you guys know this, but in my early 20s, like I wasn't a very good kid, and I did some, things in my life that were just, I was very depressed over and very much regretted and carried a lot of guilt and anguish with me. And the only way for me to get past that was to focus on what I wanted and to say, look, at you know what, the past is in the past. It doesn't matter. This is what I want now. Okay, sure. Can I say, look, at I would have rather, why didn't I meet Andrew 20 years ago? Absolutely. But does that matter now? No. Because me worrying and kicking myself for not doing it sooner, I just lose out on the moment right now, right? So time is and what would you like? Time doesn't even exist as far as our minds go. So, just be present in the moment, right? Just be thankful that you know it now and start creating with stuff you want now. It's never too late. So, your related question, is it ever too late to start a new path? No, never. Okay. I'm older and sometimes feel like it's too late for me. It's never too late. Is it ever too late to have the fairy tale ending? No. The Prince Charming, the baby, the family, the house. No, it's never too late. Start creating it now. If that's what you want, start creating it now. I mean, if you think you're too old, then you're too old. If you think it's too late, then it's too late. But if you start thinking, look at now it's happening, then now it's happening, right? So, how would you get past resentment is with a mental diet and really, going through those, thoughts that are causing those emotions, right? And really asking yourself if they're really true, and if that's something you want to focus on, or, I always shift my focus to what I want to create. And, sure, yesterday was in the past. It sucked. I say, even if I have like a fight with Andrew, I say, okay, look, what, that just brought us closer together and made our relationship even better than ever. And then I move on instead of dwelling on it, that it's going to ruin something. Because if I dwell on it, it is definitely going to ruin something. If I keep dwelling on it, it's going to ruin something. You know what I mean? So it's about just accepting and forgiving yourself. Like, forgive yourself. You didn't know it then. No problem. You know it now. What do you want to create? Right? Yeah. I intend that you get past that. I really do. Awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Um, definitely, um, definitely appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for all the great questions. Guys, go out there, create something wonderful for yourself. Start creating that you're absolutely amazing and that you can have whatever you want. And yes, that you're perfect. Absolutely. You guys are all perfect, each and every one of you guys. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week, okay? Bye-bye.